That's the problem about procrastinating something is you build more and more and more and more resistance by not doing it, because then you're making the wall taller even though it's the same exact wall it was the day before. You just find a way to make it taller.
The creative work, the ideation, the picking the topic, the making sure that it's something we're both pulled to talk about, I think that part is a lot harder all in one day, whereas we actually have some life in between the episodes now that I think we're reaching a good flow. But ultimately, what are the tiny tweaks that you can do today to make tomorrow better? What are the tiny tweaks that you can do today that will make life better?
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1816, 2 questions that will change your life. Bold statement. Very bold statement. The reason I think it will change, or my question, I can't speak to Alan's question. Could be garbage, could be terrible, could be super valuable. We'll find out. My question is actually one that I shared with Taryn today as my lesson of the week. It's only Tuesday as of recording this, but this has been a very valuable lesson for me already. My question that might help you change your life is, what is one simple thing that seems very, very challenging that I can do today that will make my life tomorrow easier? And where this came from was, how much detail do you really want? One of the hardest parts of working with podcasters is doing a launch. Because when we do launches, we do the artwork, and we do the intro, and we do the outro, and we do the music, and we do all the stuff that you need. We get you on the podcast platforms. We do all the stuff that you need to get done in order to be a podcaster. And there's just a lot of moving pieces, and there's a lot of checking in on clients and saying, hey, have you worked on the intro? Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, can we get sign off on this? Whatever it is. And I have been struggling with launches because I am usually just overwhelmed and busy, and I say, I'll check it tomorrow. The problem is, when you're communicating with a bunch of other people, one day turns into 5 days if it has to go through 5 people, and if there's a team on the other end. So one of the things I've been doing is I have something called the NLPS launch dashboard, where I have all the podcasts that are in the process of being launched. And every single day I look at that list and I say, what's the next needle I can move to make this go? And it has been absolutely game-changing. And it's one of those things where you ask yourself, well, why the hell didn't I just do this sooner?
Mm-hmm.
The pain wasn't great enough. Honestly, that's probably the answer. The pain wasn't great enough, and I probably kept saying, we'll figure it out when it gets to be a big enough problem. And it kind of has. In a good way, not in a bad way. It's not like anything has crashed and burned, but when you start to see that might be happening, then it becomes a higher level of necessity. So that's mine. Even something as simple as before you go to bed, you clean up something. Even if it's, okay, the sink in the bathroom is a little bit of a mess, you clean up the sink before you go to bed. When you wake up the next day, it's clean, and you start your day off. And that might seem like something that's very insignificant and doesn't matter at all, but if you value a clean home, if you value calm energy when you wake up, that's probably something that would be beneficial.
The reason why your question is so important, I think that when you make those tiny improvements, you start to feel better about yourself. And when you start to feel better about yourself, it starts this sort of loop of self-esteem and self-belief, or self-confidence. I'll call it self-esteem and self-confidence, because I think those are sort of the micro version of self-belief and self-worth. But ultimately, okay, you improve the bathroom sink today, you very thoroughly floss and brush your teeth, you do some self-care, you cut your fingernails, whatever it is, you now feel better about yourself. You have higher self-esteem. Now you have a little more self-belief. Now you're more likely to take that next action. And now you get some inertia, you get some momentum, and you're rocking and rolling. So one of my words for the year, my word for the year at the beginning of the year was proactive. And so every single day, I was trying really hard to do something today that I normally would put off. I've changed my word to humility because I think that's more important. And I had some challenge changing it because my word for the year was proactive, and it was working really well. Emilia said, you've been so much more proactive. My schedule's been so much more proactive. Now we're scheduling the quarter out, and then the month out, and then a week out, and it's this whole thing. But my question is similar but more long-term. And I'm reading Atomic Habits. I keep talking about that. If anyone hasn't read it, please do. It's one of the best books ever written, in my opinion. I actually just got the workbook, and it's not the workbook. There's a bunch of people who have created sort of workbooks based on it, but Atomic Habits workbook. We're not affiliated or anything like that. I'm excited to dig in, and it says an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. An implementation guide to James Clear's book, Atomic Habits.
That wasn't written by him, right?
No.
What an
I think this is
interesting-
just Liam Daniels created this.
What an
One of
interesting
our
business
clients.
model.
I know.
You read somebody else's book and you say, "Oh, this could really use a workbook. I'm going to write it, and then I'm going to sell it." Interesting.
And I thought to myself, yeah, let's do it. Tiny tweaks that make a big difference. You know who recommended it was one of our clients. Shout out to Sarah.
Nice. Love
She
it.
said, "Did you do the workbook?" And I was, "What workbook?" And so she sent it to me, and I was like, $11.99, done. $11.99 to change my life potentially forever.
I would say that's a bargain at twice the price.
Whatever that means, man.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is similar to Kev's. What's one thing that I can change today, improve today, not change? What's one thing I can improve today that will change my life forever? I have an example that Emilia did that I thought was really, really cool. She said, "Hey, you know they have automated curtains?" And I said, "Oh, interesting." And they have solar panels on them. So they have rechargeable batteries. So we used to every morning, I kid you not, every morning I would wake up and I'm doing this on YouTube. I would do the curtains and open them all around the house for the plants. Plants need sunlight. They're going to die without it. Open the curtains. It has been at least 6 months, probably a year. I haven't had to do that once. They just, every single day at 10 a.m., they open. And then at 7, thank you.
Very well done.
Good image. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
And at 7 p.m., I did it worse the second time. You made me nervous. It has been a life changer. Now, if we were to do the math, big fan. Let's say I spent, 2 minutes per day. 2 minutes per day, opening and closing the curtain. So let's say 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes in the evening.
Oh man, 4 minutes a day.
4 minutes a day times 365. That means I saved 24 hours in this year. It's a whole day. It's more than a whole day because we sleep. So
Well, I mean, it's 24 hours in a day, Mother Goose.
24
Watch your
divided by
tone.
16. I do 16-hour days because that's when you're waking hours. But anyways, so sorry.
No, you're good.
So 1.5 days, 16-hour days, I've saved just from that one tiny tweak. Another thing I did recently, this was wild, Kev, and honestly, I highly recommend it. Unsolicited advice for Kev and for anyone out there watching or listening. I have a little folder in the upper right-hand corner of my phone that's called Rabbit Hole. And I put it in the upper left so that it's harder for me to get to. You know how you hold your phone in your right hand? You're a righty like me, right? You ready? Yeah, you're ready.
I'm ready.
And your thumb is for the Spotify, YouTube, whatever you need often.
Do I do it that way? Yeah.
And I have to go all the way to the upper left, which means I have to hold it with my other hand in order to get to the upper left. And then I have to go into a folder in order to open Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Messenger, Gmail, WhatsApp, or Messages. So I put one more barrier to entry, one extra step based on, in Atomic Habits, he talks about how I don't know why I'm just yelling, make bad habits harder, make good habits easier. So I purposely put my toothbrush in the shower with my mouthwash in the shower because I'm habit stacking good things, and my flosser's in there too. And my foam roller, I'm kidding. Kev always says stuff like that.
I remember you used to
ultimately-
meditate. Yeah, man, I had a really deep meditation this morning. It's like, oh, what time did you do that? I was in the shower. What do you mean? Well,
small.
yeah, I just turned all the lights off and I just sit on the bottom. It's like,
I haven't been doing that lately. That used to be a thing I did as a kid. I would put on cold water for some reason in the dark, and I would just want to be in water. I don't know what that is.
well, you grew up near water, so it's probably one of those things.
Big fan. I don't know. I think there's something about it. They call it hydrotherapy. It's a thing, apparently. Anyways, that one thing has changed how often, because I would fall down the rabbit hole of Instagram or whatever, social media. That has changed everything for me. It's crazy how much that one little tweak. So that's the question. What is one thing I can improve today that will improve my life forever? And I ask myself that as much as humanly possible. Atomic Habits is just a book that helps me focus more on it, but ultimately that's what I'm trying to do always.
I mentioned this story on a podcast recently, and I think it goes very, very appropriately with what we're talking about today. Back when I lived with Matt, we lived on the bottom floor, renovating the upstairs. He was going to rent it out. It was going to become an income property. Eventually, we started working on the bottom floor because we were going to renovate the bottom floor, and then at some point he was going to move out completely since he has since done that, and then he was going to have a top-bottom duplex, and they both were going to be rented out to tenants. And one of the improvements that we wanted to make was there was a light on the front porch. And we went to Home Depot, we bought the light, we made sure it was the right one, it'll fit, all that stuff. And every time we would go on Sunday, we would say, okay, today's the day. We're going to do it today. We're going to do it today. And we never did it. We kept putting it off and putting it off. It's going to be so much work. We're going to have to shut the power off. What if we don't have the right screws? What if we don't have the right wire nuts? Blah, 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 blah. What if it doesn't work? And the day we went to do it, the day we finally got to the place where we said, all right, we're going to give it a shot. Let's just go take the other light off. It doesn't work anyway. Let's take the other light off and let's just see what we're in for. So we committed to spending 10 or 15 minutes doing it, and we finished it in like 20 minutes. And it was wildly easy. It was very, very not challenging, and it was way less than we thought it was going to be. I think that's why doing something today that makes tomorrow easier is good, because if you don't do it today, it's probably going to make tomorrow harder because we work this up in our mind. Great example. Client podcast is launching this week, sent me a message for me to review something, and I looked at it this morning and I was like, oh, God, it's going to take me so long to do this. It took me 1 minute, literally 1 minute. And now we're going to hop on the call next week, catch up, make sure everything's good, smooth, cool, awesome. Now that loop is closed, and now we can move on to something else. And that has been I think one of the reasons it's such a game changer is because we delude ourselves into thinking everything is going to be harder than it is. Not everything, but most things.
Sometimes we think things are going to be easier than they are. I think that's your end of the drive to 5.
That's
for
fair.
me.
That's fair.
I am the opposite. Email will be like, oh, new thermostat, smart thermostat, take 20 minutes. We were, no. Hey, hell no. We spent 40 minutes and then we're not doing this ourselves. No chance.
Yeah.
So we tend to be optimistic about how she's like that. Oh, it'll take, no worries, take 20 minutes. It's a full day project. Obviously I'm exaggerating in that case. She's gotten way better, but for you, I think you probably assume things are going to take longer than they really do. We assume things will be easier than they really are. I think that's optimism.
Yeah, but sometimes it's even the energetics of it. It's like it might not be that hard. It might not take that much time, but there's so much resistance to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem about procrastinating something is you build more and more and more and more resistance by not doing it, because then you're just working. You're making the wall taller even though it's the same exact wall it was the day before. You just find a way to make it taller.
It's absolutely brutal. And hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes. I would love to break down some different tiny tweaks that we've made that have made the biggest difference. I mean, one that I can think of, I was on a walk with Emilia and I was talking about how hard it is to sustain WhatsApp batching. Kevin and I, and again, a lot of times it probably sounds like we're complaining. These are wonderful problems to have. I have probably 50 WhatsApp messages right now. And I just could not. It was a mountain that got higher. Every time I tried to climb it, I tried to batch it, and then eventually I would have this resistance to WhatsApp. I know you know the deal. We run our business through WhatsApp. Our clients are in there. Our communities are in there. It's great. Wonderful thing. But it comes with this challenge where, and then the other piece of this too is, and I'm actually kind of grateful for this too, but people get back to me right away. And so I would batch it and it would be full again almost right away. And so Emilia had this really simple idea. She said, why don't you just do 20 minutes a day? And set a timer, cut it at 20. And that way it's, what is it, first on the stack. So I go to the, WhatsApp has a filter, unread, anything that's unread, and then it sorts it by date. So whatever message is the farthest down, I start with, and then I go up. And then after 20 minutes, no matter how bad I want to stay in there or finish or batch it or clean it up, I just have to leave because I know if I overdo it, I'm going to have more resistance to it tomorrow. And so there's a way. James Clear has this really cool graphic where he talks about the amount of willpower that a habit takes. And he says that if you make the habit smaller and then do it consistently, you're much better off. Now, that doesn't work with everything. You and I used to try to do 7 episodes all on Monday. Now we do, 1 episode here, 2 episodes here, 3 episodes here where we can fit it in. I actually like it better because 7 episodes on one day is really, really, really challenging. And I actually think that the creative work, the ideation, the picking the topic, the making sure that it's something we're both pulled to talk about, I think that part is a lot harder all in one day, whereas we actually have some life in between the episodes now that I think we're reaching a good flow. But ultimately, what are the tiny tweaks that you can do today to make tomorrow better? What are the tiny tweaks that you can do today that will make life better?
I don't feel like I've made a lot of those recently from my own life. I think most of them have been for the business.
Yeah, fair.
And we were talking about that. Man, the WhatsApp batch thing for me, I batch it. I won't say I do it the whole thing every day, but I do like 99%. I just have a ton of necessity. I have to. If I don't do it, it gets ugly quick.
Mm-hmm.
It can get ugly quick. Very, very, very fast when you're in as many groups as I am at this point. Having Kitchen Man on my tracker and trying, this is the other thing too. Yeah, you might not go from 0% to 100%, but you might go from 0% to 75%, or you might go from 25% to 50 or 50 to 75 or 75 to 90. It's not like I'm getting Kitchen Man completely done every single night. But I'm doing it way more than I used to in the past. And even the nights where I don't do the entire kitchen, maybe I do something. Maybe I do the counter and this. Or maybe whatever. Maybe I unload the dishwasher so I know tomorrow will be easier when I'm ready to put the dishes in there. Just that type of stuff. Trying to say, well, I would rather do, if my intention is to do nothing, what is the bare minimum I actually could do? Because the bare minimum that you could do is better than nothing at all. And I think, yes, that's a dangerous game because you could just say, well, I'm going to start doing the bare minimum, but I'm not saying that's going to get you progress. But I think it'll get you progress if you're already feeling stuck and you're just not doing things. Yeah, going to the gym for 5 minutes is most likely not going to help you achieve your goals. But if one of your goals is to go to the gym more consistently, it 100% is going to.
Yeah, and then you might stay for 20 or
you might
whatever.
stay for 20. Yeah.
I've had to use that technique several times. Writing in 2023, I couldn't write at all, and I couldn't be consistent. I would write for 4 days and then quit, and then I'd write for 5 days and then quit, and then 3 days and then quit. And eventually it was 20 minutes a day. So that's been my sweet spot. Mobility, for some reason, anything above 10 minutes, and I just don't sustain it. It's so annoying. But I've done mobility 10 minutes a day every day for all of 2024. At least 10 minutes. Sometimes I jump to 20 and I get like a streak of 4 or 5 days going, and then I drop it to 10.
Yeah.
But I've sustained 10.
Are you doing it at the gym?
No, I do it at home. Yeah.
Before you go?
No, it's not. Dude, it's where I can fit it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there have been times where I'm doing it on the floor of a hotel room right before bed when we were on our trip.
See, I've never in this moment, I've never really thought of doing mobility after the gym. How dumb does that sound?
So we haven't talked about this in a long time, but I have something called the Big Five to Thrive, and it's evolved, but I've never missed in all of 2024. And I do this with some of my clients too. They have for the 5, okay, so everyone has a tracker. They have metrics and habits. And what are the 5 habits that are the most important for your current life? So mine right now are 20 minutes of WhatsApp and email, which we just talked about, 20 minutes of finance, 20 minutes of sales, 40 minutes of exercise lately. It's been hard to hold that, but we've done it. And then 10 minutes of mobility. Those are all the minimums. I can go over, but I try not to. And I don't miss any of those any day. And that is alarmingly difficult. So probably start smaller than that if you're out there watching or listening. But it really is Tetris. You used to talk about wherever you can fit it. It's Tetris, dude. It's wherever I can fit it. I mean, I was doing mobility while doing WhatsApp one time just to get it done, which was brutal. I was like sending an audio while stretching. And that's me trying to integrate them to where I can still get it done, but it's not, some days I'm fully intentional, I'm fully present, I do it perfectly, but other days it's check the box, get it done.
Yeah. It's so, maybe we could do, tomorrow's Freestyle Friday, so maybe we can work this in, maybe a deeper conversation on this, about how do you... Good.
Sorry, I have one that came up. One of my clients just did this. He was on his phone too much, and he said, "I want to be on my phone less." I know a lot of people struggle with that. I said, "Dude, are you using it as your alarm clock?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "That's the issue. Use your Alexa. Use your Alexa." He got an Echo Pop for $30, $35, or I think in Canadian it was $45. But he said that's been a game changer. Just using that as your alarm instead of your phone, so the phone isn't in the bedroom. You want to talk about one tiny tweak that changed our world for Emilia and I? She put the charging station on the other side of the house. So when we woke up in the morning, we weren't immediately engulfed in emails and responsibilities, and we could actually have somewhat of a morning before we got sort of solicited by the outside world.
Taryn bought me I've talked about this a lot. I don't know the brand. I'm sure there's a bunch. I think the Apple Watch probably does it, but it's a watch that vibrates.
Yeah.
That's my alarm clock. That is what I've used for an
alarm clock. The Apple Watch
does
do that.
Does it?
It does.
I'm anti-Apple Watch because everybody else has it, so I won't have it.
Yeah,
no watch.
Kev won't do it.
The only time I wear watches is when I go to events.
I just like it because you can listen to books on it.
Yeah, that's fair. I happen to have these AirPods that I can put in my squash, too.
Well, I use the AirPods and it connects to the Apple Watch, and Audible they have an app on Audible, so I can control music and
I'll never have one, most likely. It's
all good.
Too late. It's too late now. But that was an absolute game changer.
For life.
Yeah, it's the best.
Forever. It's one...
I couldn't tell you the last time I didn't wear it.
Yep.
When I travel, it comes with me. It's
Oura is a
best.
good example. We have a sleep score forever now. One purchase
84.
changed our life forever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those little tweaks. If you spend your life looking for those little 1% improvements that change your life forever, the curtains is the best one I've ever seen. I'm so blown away by how, because it's one of those things that you don't know until later on. Because when she first said it, I wasn't, that's going to change my life. Months and months later, I can't believe I used to open and close these every day.
Well, it's just I think Instacart is a good potential. Instacart,
Yep.
Whatever the rest of the world has. I know not the entire world has Instacart, but yes, it might be more expensive than if you were to go grocery shopping. But if every time you're supposed to go grocery shopping, you don't go grocery shopping, and then you end up ordering out 4 more times that week than you would have, and it ends up costing you more money, that might be one thing that makes a giant difference for you. It just you just have to understand the layers.
You probably would
2.
save money in the long run if you end up procrastinating, forgetting to grocery shop, and then ordering out, takeout, to your point. It would be, and there's so many things. I actually think that's really exciting. I know I'm a weirdo with this, but I want to be a scientist with life. That's what I do with my clients too. What are the tiny tweaks that are going to make the biggest difference? That's why I love Atomic Habits. It's not about James Clear or the book. It's the concept.
Yeah.
The concept of the 1% improvements. Kev always says, what's one way we can grow our business? And don't say do everything we're already doing 1% better. Brother, That's the only answer.
Give me something sexy.
There is nothing sexy.
There is. We can hire one of those. We could buy one of those blow up things that it dances when you blow the air into it. We could put it outside or something. Bring the people in. Give them what they want. All right, we gotta go because we're over our 20-minute time limit on this episode. We gave ourselves 20 minutes and then we proceeded to just go over it as we do. If you are looking for a shift that is much, much, much more than 1%. Our 16th round of group coaching starts on October 8th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're looking to be the most consistent version of yourself, if you're looking to be the most aware version of yourself, and if you're looking for accountability, that really is what many people who sign up for group coaching are paying for, is the accountability of Alan, myself, Amy, but the other 9 people in the group. So you will not feel alone. You will be on a team of other people growing in a similar or the same direction. We will have the link in the show notes. If you use the code NLUListener, you will get 30% off, and it ends up being $96.60 per month, and there are 4 calls per month. So 2 with Alan and myself, 2 with Amy and the rest of the team. That is very, very, very affordable. Again, we did not do group coaching so we could line our pockets with $100 bills. We did group coaching so we could help more people in the same amount of time. And if you're interested, we would love to have you. So the link will be in the show notes. As always, if you're interested in podcast breakthrough sessions, I offer them for free. We'll have the link in the show notes for that. And Alan also does business breakthrough sessions for anybody who hasn't done one. And again, it's just a goal. The opportunity, cannot speak to save my life, to meet Alan and I behind the scenes, for us to meet you behind the scenes, and to add value. It's not just hopefully this person becomes a client. It's what can we do to add value? Always, always, always. We're very big on that, obviously. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We'll talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out